to the top 50 albums of 2015, my own personal top 50, and in at number 10 is something that's probably going to cause a bit of a controversy, as it were, because a lot of people have put this high. In fact, a lot of people put it as their number one album of the year. I've got here at number 10 is, of course, Iron Maiden with their current album, The Book of Souls. Can't even say the words properly. Now, let me explain. Lot of good albums this year, hell of a lot of good albums this year, and that's why I made a list of 50 as opposed to just 20. And really, with Iron Maiden, love the album, but as much of a fan of Iron Maiden I am, I sometimes find that this album might be a little bit overlong, and it's not a bad thing. Obviously, they brought in the progressive elements and all that, but nowadays, I don't know. It's just I've tried to listen to the album several times. I have listened to it all the way through more than once, and it's one that's got to grow on me more and more, and I was sort of debating whether to put it higher or not, and then I found that there was other albums that I found that I was listening to a lot more and enjoying more at the time. Not to put anything against this album, it's a fucking superb album, probably one of Iron Maiden's best, but for me, it's in at number 10 here on my top 50 albums of 2015. In at number 9, we have got Clutch with Psychic Warfare. Absolutely superb rocking album here. Every song here is an absolute winner, but the two songs I find getting really, really stuck in my head for their choruses are Sucker for the Witch, which really does get stuck in your head, something manic, and Firebirds, which has become a bit of a regular track on my radio show. So if you haven't checked out Clutch, go check out this album. I've only heard one or two Clutch albums before, so I can't say whether it's the best they've ever done, but it's an absolutely superb rocking album. So if you like a bit of rock and roll, haven't heard Clutch yet, go check out this album. You will not be disappointed. It is here at number 9 on my top 50 albums of 2015. Number 8, we have a band that I've only got into last year, the one and only Ghost. A lot of people have been loving this band for ages. I'm a bit late on the train for this one, really. Gave them a go with this very album, actually, Meliora, and I absolutely loved it. First of all, I heard the song Cerise, I think that's how it's pronounced, and luckily for me, the rest of the album was up to that high standard, and trust me, Cerise is one hell of a song. If you haven't heard it yet, or haven't heard any of Ghost, go check it out. I mean, this album is the reason I went back and bought everything else that Ghost have done. I've heard from a lot of people that this is the best album they've done so far, and having listened to the other two albums, I tend to agree. Nothing's wrong with the other two albums. I mean, well worth buying, but if you're going to get into Ghost and haven't heard them yet, I'd start with this one. So in at number 7, I think it's number 7, hang on, let me just double check. No, number 8 even, we have got Ghost with Meliora. Oh, here was a bit of a shocker for 2015 for me. A band that I admit over the last 10, 13 years roughly, I'd pretty much given up on. For me, they'd gone really, really downhill, and I'd bought their albums, you know, and I just wasn't getting impressed. I was liking their albums less and less, and I was kind of gutted about that, because back in like 1999, 2000, I absolutely loved Cradle of Filth, and then absolutely, and to this day, still have Cruelty and the Beast from 1998 as one of my favourite albums ever, and definitely one of my favourite black metal albums. Then they started straying away from being black metal. Midian was an absolutely superb album. Then they released Damnation a Day. I didn't get on with that very well. There's a glimmer of hope with Nymphetamine, obviously, which was half a really good album. The rest of it was a bit so-so. Then we had the album after it, which Pornography, which was absolutely goddamn abysmal. Then we had the album after that, which I've forgotten the name of, which really didn't get on with. Then 2 years ago, we got Manticore, which had punky sort of elements, very sort of punk vibe to it, while still keeping slightly black metal, more extreme metal elements in there. Even Danny Filth over the last 10 years have been saying they are no longer a black metal band, they're more of a straightforward extreme metal band more than anything else, which I appreciate. At least he's not trying to continue saying that Cradle of Filth are a black metal band. Then this year they released Hammer the Witches, and I first heard this when I'd done the review on my channel, which I'll put the link up on this little section here for you to watch, and I was thoroughly impressed. I really did not expect to A, even like a Cradle of Filth album again, or B, let alone enjoy it so much that it's ended up here in my top 10 of 2015 at number 7. So yeah, if you've given up on Cradle of Filth, as I did previously, go check this album out. It might give you faith in the band again. And Danny, if you watch this, well done mate, keep it up. Anyway, in at number 7 on my top 50 albums of 2015, Cradle of Filth with Hammer of the Witches. Talking of people who've had a shaky career after the millennium, Marilyn Manson. He had Hollywood album, which was okay. A lot of people love that album. Personally, wasn't a great fan of it. It weren't terrible, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really good songs on there, like the Love Song, etc. But it wasn't as good as his previous best with like Mechanical Animals and of course the absolutely immortal Antichrist Superstar. Then things started going even further downhill for me. He released the High End of Low album. Not really any good songs on that, and he had the album before that with Heart-Shaped Glasses on it, which was, admittedly, I'll give it to him, he experimented with his sound. He went in a different direction with it, which I can fully appreciate. He wanted to do something different, but it didn't really work on that album for me personally. Heart-Shaped Glasses was one of only two good songs on there. The other one was If I Was Your Vampire, which was more of a callback to classic goth Marilyn Manson than anything else. And the rest of the album was just very much just passed me by without really all the rest of the tracks didn't do anything for me. And as I said, the High End of Low just was rubbish. I mean, even Manson himself I think has said that High End of Low was a really bad period for him and he weren't happy with it anyway. Eat Me Drink Me is the album I was trying to think of the title of. That album as well I don't think he was happy with. Then this year we got a couple of years ago we got Born Villain, and there was some real hope there. There was some fantastic different shifting style back to a more sort of straightforward metal stroke, almost 70s rock vibe on it, and a strong post-punk influence on there. I mean, one of the songs on there, which I forgot the name of, I'm not doing well with my memory on this top 50, am I? Was very much a Killing Joke sound to it, I found as well. And I enjoyed that. I'm a huge Killing Joke fan, so that was good for me. Then Pale Emperor come out this year, and this blew me away. This was not what I expected from Manson. I didn't know if he was going to coast on just putting out okay albums and experimenting with his sound, which the guy's earned it. He's been around for a while, and he's got his fans, and I am one of them, I will admit that. But yeah, he come out with this, and yeah, Deep Six was a really, really good anthemic song, the first single from the album, and went back to the classic anthemic style of old school Marilyn Manson, and then the rest of the album had a really, really sort of 70s, 80s rock vibe, and I really appreciated that. And it had what I consider to be one of his best songs in the Mephistopheles of Los Angeles. I knew I would cock up trying to say that. So all in all, if you had lost any hope in Manson over the last few years, give this album a go. It's absolutely superb, and that's why it's at number 6 here on the top 10 of my albums of 2015. At number 5, here's a band that everyone's going to go, who? For the most part. They're an unsigned band. They're from Southend, and they are called Oceans Aside. And they released their very first album this year. I'll say released it. It was obviously funded by the band themselves. You can listen to the whole thing on YouTube. They have uploaded it on there for your listening pleasure. And I thoroughly recommend it. I will do a full review of this album soon. Probably next week, actually. And this is how good it is. It's an unsigned band, and they're in my top 5. In fact, they're at number 5, in my top 5 of 2015. This is how you do emotional hardcore. And let me just announce that. Emotional hardcore. Not emo, but emotional post-hardcore. This is absolutely superb from the guys, with some really impassioned screams and some fantastic melodic vocals as well from Mark Vincent, with some tight guitar playing and fantastic drumming from the one and only Michael Blackman. I interviewed these guys many months ago before the album came out, and they've done some fantastic live shows as well. I'll put the link to that interview from, it was either this year or last year. It's over there somewhere at the top. Just click on that if you want to hear the interview with the guys. Really interesting what they spoke about as well. And yeah, if you haven't yet, check them out. Oceans Aside from Southend-on-Sea. Hopefully this is their year and they'll get signed. And they're in at number 5 here with their fantastic debut album, Tidal Rage. In at number 4, this is one where I've got to disagree with the main critics lists again, because I saw the reviews for this album when it came out, and a lot of them were giving just above average reviews for this album. I sort of bought the album myself, and I was thinking, these people are mental. I am of course talking about Kylisa with Exhausting Fire. I think it's pronounced Kylisa. If the band watches, I do apologise if I'm pronouncing it wrong. This is an absolutely superb, essentially psychedelic in a way rock album with slight southern rock influences on there as well, and some sort of slightly indie influences in there as well, and a little bit of grunge. A little bit difficult to describe really, but you'll hear them as you listen to the album. And the album, the best way to listen to this album, I would say, is to get yourself chilled out, either, I don't know, playing a computer game or something, just have the album on in the, like, playing full blast through your stereo, and just listen to the whole thing in one go, because that's the best way. Take it all in one hit. And the cover of Paranoid that they have on here is absolutely superb. Yes, Black Sabbath's Paranoid is taken to an interesting new place with this album, with Laura Peasant's fantastic vocals on here, and the guitar playing, as well as every member of the band giving their all on this album as well. Not the heaviest album you'll hear this year, but an absolutely superb album, and something a little bit different as well, especially for you lovers of the more fuzzy end of the guitar spectrum, as it were. So yes, if you haven't checked out Kylisa yet, go check out this album, Exhausting Fire, here at number 4 on my top 10 lists of 2015. In at number 3, power metal album of the year. Simple as that. Camelot with Haven. You saw how good a review I gave this earlier in the year. I got to interview the keyboardist earlier this year as well. Again, I'll put the link on here as well for you to check that out. Absolutely superb. Not one single bad song on here. With Alyssa White-Gluz as well on here, as well as I believe Charlotte Wessels from Delane is on this album as well. Absolutely superb, every song spot on, with some fantastic riffs, fantastic, amazing singing from Tommy Karavik. Really catchy songs on here as well, such as Insomnia, and the choruses will stay with you for days. And the only worry I've got is, Camelot got to be able to top this album. It's that goddamn good. I think they will, but it might take a while. But for now, we can enjoy this absolute masterpiece of an album. It's an album that transcends the genre that they are generally associated with. This isn't just power metal. This transcends genres into just good old metal with fantastic vocals. So if you haven't checked out Camelot yet, check out Haven, and you're welcome. You'll love it, trust me. At number 2, well, this is an entry that's a little bit bittersweet, really, considering what happened. It was either at the end of December or at the beginning of January, I can't remember which. It is Motorhead with Bad Magic. Honestly, I bought this album when it came out, absolutely loved it. This is one of the best things the Motorhead have put out for a while, and that's pretty difficult to do, because they have been on a run of really fantastic albums since, for me personally, since The World Is Yours, which was really fucking good album as well, and every album after that has been absolutely top quality. But they outdid themselves here, and despite whether Lemmy had died or not, this still would have been on my top 10 list, and this high as well. This album is absolutely superb. Unfortunately, obviously, we lost Lemmy, an absolute legend of a man, and it's fitting, really, that he went out with one of the best albums that Motorhead have ever done. He may not be with us, but we know that when we get up there to heaven with him, the guy is going to be still at the bar, still drinking JD, and still announcing that he is Motorhead and he is rock and roll. We are at number 1. You already know what it is. If you know me in any way whatsoever, a lot of you probably saying, predictable. Fair enough, I'm predictable, but I have a lot to say on this album. I'll try and keep it as short as I can, because obviously you don't want a 20-30 minute video of me where like 90% of it is me talking about my number one pick. Number one is Fear Factory and Genexus. But there is another reason. Yes, admittedly, I am a ridiculously huge Fear Factory fanboy. I hold my hands up to that and totally admit that. However, that possibly makes me more critical of their albums than a normal person who would listen to them, because you expect a certain kind of quality from them then. So for years we've been waiting for albums to get back up to the quality of, say, Demanufacture and Obsolete. And there's been some very good albums. Archetype, I personally put as one of my favourite Fear Factory albums, along with obviously Demanufacture. However, there has been some stumbles. I mean, their last album, Transgression, there was a few duff songs on there for me. Mechanise, again, wasn't a fantastic album to me. And don't even talk to me about Digimortal. The more I've listened to that over the years, the more I've realised that it's not a great album at all to me. But Obsolete, fantastic. Demanufacture, absolute classic. Then this year, they've released Genexus. I'd heard the the pre-release track, which was Soul Hacker. Gave me a lot of hope. Gave me a hell of a lot of hope. Then the album come out, and I heard Protomech. I heard Autonomous Combat Engine. And I heard the whole album, basically. And my good fuckety god, I think this is what they originally envisioned when they were writing Digimortal back in 2001. This is full of catchy melodic choruses, incredibly heavy riffs. Bernsey Bill is on absolute top form. Dino Cazares really is bringing fantastic riffing and some superb guitar work and heavy riffs to the forefront of the band here. And honestly, the only problem I've got now, and Fear Factory themselves indeed have got now, is following this up, because this is going to be difficult to top. For me personally, this outdoes Demanufacture. I reviewed it earlier this year. You can see the review just by clicking on the link that I've put up there. And I'll gush about it. I also got an interview Dino over Skype a couple of months before the album come out. Links up there as well. And you'll have to excuse me on that one. I was, one, amazed that I actually managed to get that interview, and two, might have slightly fanboyed out a little bit inside, so I might sound a little bit more geeky than usual on that interview. But anyway, this album, absolutely legendary, from a band I love to bits. I really do. They have saved my life in many ways that I'm not going to go into. Bouncy Bell's lyrics are just getting more and more amazing. The concepts are getting more and more interesting as well with the album. Sure, it's still got that core of man versus machine, but they're going in different directions with it, and everything on this album is just absolutely perfect. So yes, if you haven't yet, check it out. At number one, my number one album of 2015. Yeah, if you know me, it was obvious, but at the same time, what do you expect when the album is as good as this? Fear Factory with Genexus. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching all 5 parts of my top 50. I hope you enjoyed them. I'm going to try and get at least 5 videos up per week, possibly more, depending how busy I am at the weekends. And I will be doing reviews. If you have top 10s you want me to do, I'll do. And I know some bastard is going to say top 10 Metallica songs or something. That's not going to happen. And yeah, I will try and make some variety on the channel. I keep abandoning the channel, forgetting about it. I don't mean to. This year I'm going to try and make this a channel as big as possible. If you're watching this video, please share it. Help me get the word out there about the channel. Help me get the videos out there as well. And thank you very much yourself for taking the time to watch. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And I thank you very much for being a listener and watcher of my videos. And I will be back soon with another video. Probably a review of that Oceans Aside album, actually. And yes, I shall see you then. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'll see you later.
I turn to face it.